All right, so here we go. We're running to the gym, get your cardio in before you get to the gym. And now we're here, and I'm gonna go inside. I'm gonna run on a treadmill. Simon Miller, the Bald A-Hole here. Welcome. Thank you very much for joining me for another video where we're going to talk about a bunch of crazy stuff that happens in the gym. Some people in the comments go, why are you talking about this stuff? Because I want to talk about this stuff. And I feel it's really good to sort of connect the tissue dots, you know what that means, but connect the dots so that, when you do see it happening or when you do it, we can laugh and go, ha, 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 ha. Aren't we all fools? Because we are, really. Because when you break life right down, life's really crazy. We're just on a rock that's kind of hurtling through space, and there's a giant sun that's also really important to our existence, but also one day is likely going to explode and just wipe us all out. That's too much to take, so wouldn't it be better just to laugh and be humorous about the gym, this fitness wonder world that we all love? And I was doing one of these the other day that I'll talk about in a second that you've already kind of seen in the intro. I was like, we do all these things, but really when you break it right down, it doesn't make any sense. But number 7 is yes, you decide that you're not going to drive to the gym, you're not going to walk to the gym, you're not going to use public transport, you are going to run to the gym, and then when you get to the gym, you enter the doors, you scan your card or whatever, you go upstairs or, wherever the cardio machines may be, and then you run on a treadmill for a while. I think it's hilarious. I think it's the greatest thing of all time. That is like having a pizza at home, eating it, and then driving to a pizza place and eating some pizza. It's like not like that at all. I just really wanted to talk about pizza. But it's just such an odd concept. What is it about a treadmill that, unless you hate running outside, but you can't have hated running outside that much because you decided to run to the gym. Why didn't you just run by the gym? Just carry on running. But for some reason, standing on a machine with a rubber belt, whatever the hell you want to call it, and pushing buttons and choosing your incline and choosing whatever is more, appealing, I suppose, than running on the outside. And I get it, you can control your environment more with the treadmill. Like I say, you can choose the incline, you can choose the speed, you can do interval training, you basically let it create your environment. But we have this thing outside called the world where you can run. And it doesn't make a difference if you prefer running outside or you prefer going on a treadmill. But running to the gym to run within a building is kind of one of those concepts where your brain goes phase. It's like if a tree falls, really think about this too. If a tree falls in a wood, does it make a sound? And you go, of course it made a sound because all things make sounds. But yes, but if nobody is around to hear it, does the sound even exist? And again, your brain wanders off and you just collapse down. Like that clip in The Simpsons that I always play with Ned Flanders explaining cider or apple juice to Homer Simpson.
You can stay, but I'm leaving.
Candy yellow if they're using late season apples. And of course in Canada the whole thing's flip-flop.
But that's what we do. We run to the gym in order to run and then we run home. Because why the hell not? Number 6 continues on this theme, but now we're going to focus on the weight side of things, the bodybuilding, the, whatever. Because what's the one goal? I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to think about this. What is the one goal of going to the gym? And there are sort of sub-goals, that you get from doing this thing in the sense that you get more muscular or you get more endurance or you get stronger. But ultimately, when you're in the gym, your aim, your target, your achievement is pick up that heavy weight so you can teach yourself to pick up the heavier weights. It's great, isn't it? It's great. And who was the first person to come up with this? I'm sure if I researched it, I could find out. Maybe I will. And maybe I'll do a history lesson on bodybuilding. But who just went, well, that looks like a heavy weight. Oh, wow. That's pretty good. And then he thought, I'll do it with, an extra couple of kilos, extra couple of pounds. Oh, man, it's getting even bigger. I need to know how all this happened. Who figured all this out? I'm sure it comes down to science. Because science figures everything out. It's just the way that it goes. But I just love it. I love the concept. I love the idea. And the other thing as well, if you break anything down, it sucks. Like football or soccer for my American friends. 22 people just going to run around a bit of grass and try and put a leather circular thing into a net. That sounds absolutely crap. But when you do get into it, like, oh man, I'm really enjoying this. And I'm going to get really upset about it when my team loses. But never forget that when you're in there. In fact, it may actually help motivate you in many ways because it does keep it really simple and you don't have to overthink it. All you need to do is teach yourself to pick up a heavy weight so that once you have learned that, you can pick up the heavier weight. And then you run into the stupid thing that my gym has where the dumbbells aren't heavy enough. And on the one hand, you're like, this is the coolest thing ever. Like the dumbbells aren't, remember when you first go to the gym and you're like, the dumbbells aren't heavy enough for me. This is incredible. But then you go, shib, The dumbbells aren't heavy enough for me. Now I gotta try and work around this nonsense. Number 5 is another good one. And again, it starts with you driving to the gym or going to the gym. This time you've decided to drive. And I see people doing this all the time and I love it. You get to the car park and despite you arriving at a place of fitness to do exercise and try and get in shape, you try and drive your car as close to the entrance as possible. Because even though you're going to go in there and maybe do, a couple of miles running or you can lift weights, you're going to sweat, you're really going to push yourself. That's the best. You will not walk those extra 100 steps. Screw that, flub that. That on my plan. I haven't eaten for this. I never took this into account. I need to find a space so close. If I want to lay down on the floor and just roll into the gym, that's what I will do. And they may kick you out because they'll be worried about what else you're going to do once you're in there. But I was literally this is where the idea for this whole thing came from. I was literally at the gym the other day and you could see some guy tarting, because he couldn't park as close to the gym as he wanted. Like, dude, you're only around about, like I say, 100 steps away, and you're just going to give yourself more exercise to do. But he was so mad. Bless you, my friend. Number 4 is an oldie, but a classic, and it really doesn't make any sense. You don't want to train legs. Now, I know there's exceptions to the rule. Some people say they love leg day, but come on. There's a whole meme about this, about, leg day and how much we hate leg day and nobody wants to work legs. And I'll tell you right now, if I was going to rank my favorite body parts, are legs anywhere near the top? No, they're not. As you're aware, I hate lunges. I think they should be punishment. I think if you get caught shoplifting, you don't go to jail. You're made to do lunges and then you will never steal again. That's just how it's going to work. But why the hell would you ever actually want to do that? You know the people I'm talking about. Johnny Bravo. Johnny Bravo is the best example of this, even though he's a cartoon. You want to walk around like this, here he comes, big smasher dude. But if you've got tiny legs, that is all people are going to notice. So all this hard work that you put into your upper body, you've done this, you've done that, everyone is just going to be, look at his legs, guys. His legs are tiny though. Look at this picture, right? Look at this picture. It looks absolutely ridiculous. And yet we don't care. Just because training legs is really hard and because you're walking around on your legs all the time, that actually trying to trick them essentially into getting bigger and achieving muscle synthesis is nigh on impossible. Of course it is. This ties into the calf argument. You can work your calves every single day and they just won't grow. You're like, why won't you grow? And then you see someone that has beautiful, delicious calves and you're like, well, look at that guy. Look at that guy or girl roaming around as if he or she doesn't have a care in the world. And here I am with my crappy lower legs. But ultimately, when you go to a gym, you should want to be symmetrical. Like, symmetry should be more important than strength. It should be more important than whatever. Because you don't want to look out of proportion. And yet we do. Some people just want big biceps and a big chest. I get messages like that, Miller. How can I get big bicep, big chest? I'm like, do you not want trapezius, deltoids, latissimus dorsi? Triceps? No, I just want that. I don't know what that looks like, but it probably looks a little bit like Frankenstein's monster. Number 3 is tremendous, and I actually advocate for this because, as you know, mental health is the most important thing. You work out really hard in the gym, to the point that you burn loads of calories and you're hitting all your targets and your PBs, blah, 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 blah. You get home and you eat a chocolate bar because you earned it. You're literally at the gym to, if you're trying to lose weight, of course, to try and burn off calories and, eradicate fat and be as lean as you possibly can and get your abdominals in. But because you worked hard doing that, you will now eat a bunch of high-calorie food because you earned it, because you deserved it. And you know what? You absolutely do. It doesn't make any sense when you break it right down, but I love you so much. Never stop. Number 2 ties into spotting. Saw somebody spotting somebody the other day, and this is when it occurred to me. It was on the bench press. He was lifting a lot of weight, in my personal opinion, too much for him. But hey, I ain't gonna crap on that guy unless I do another video when I crap on those kind of guys. But it made me realize he is doing an exercise that if he gets wrong, and really that he knows is too much weight for him, because that's usually when you ask for help, because you're like, oh, I'm a little bit scared, that if he doesn't get the assistance, it could kill him. Because, especially if you're doing bench press, if you're doing a bench press, we've all done it, you get to here, and then your brain goes, yeah, look, I don't have any more power in my muscles. I don't know what you want me to do. I can't all of a sudden get stronger, so you're on your own. And you're like, well, what am I going to do? I have to roll the bar off. But otherwise, if you dropped it, or it fell on your neck, it could choke you and it could kill you. Now, this is the massive exaggeration. But I'm sure it has happened, but it's still such a anomaly, right? It's such an amazing thing that we want to do. We will put ourselves under tremendous amounts of stress just to try and get that one extra rep out. And this sort of, the ultimate thing is that one extra rep is everything. If you do get that one extra rep, it could actually be the difference between a good session and a bad session. Leg press is the scariest. You don't usually see people getting spotted on leg press. But I shouldn't tell you this because you'll start doing it, but I always have that thing in my head when I'm doing heavy leg press. All that happens is for something in my leg to go or there to be some kind of problem, and this will compress me up like an accordion. And I don't know how bad that trauma will be, but it certainly feels like that could be how I go out. And I don't want that. I don't want, how did Simon die? Oh, he got compressed by a leg press. That sounds absolutely crap. I was about to say it'd be in the paper, but as we talked about before, it wouldn't be in the paper. Because the headline would be "Bald Guy You Don't Know." It may be in the ha-ha section. You often see that in papers. I'm like, that's a bit mean. They died. But maybe in the ha-ha section, it would be "Bald YouTube Idiot overdoes the leg press and dies." And maybe one of you will read it and go, "Oh, I used to watch his videos and he was an idiot." But still, that's what we do. Number one is the oldest, I think probably oldest saying that there is, and that's "train through the pain." Now, what obviously that is referring to is, when your muscles start to burn, that's when you want to train even harder because you will break the muscle down, so on and so forth. But in the modern day, that has now evolved to the point we see it all the time. Somebody gets injured and they're like, well, how can I keep training? I do it, you do it, we all do it. Auntie Aggie May, she does it too, doesn't even go to the gym. And it's like, that's the number one thing you shouldn't be doing in life. Your brain is telling you that there's some pain, like shoulder, right? Everyone gets shoulder injuries. So if you're doing some kind of shoulder exercise, what we should do when the brain says, please don't do that, it hurts and I'm desperately trying to repair it, we should go home or we should go do something else or work around it. But we don't. We think to ourselves, I'm going to keep going because maybe that will just knock it back into place. Although really, ultimately, I just do not want to go to the gym. So I'm going to keep going. A friend of mine, won't name them in case they don't want to know, but they injured their leg. They injured their leg recently. And what they probably should have done is just taken a week off, laid down, recovered, enjoyed themselves, chill out. But they didn't. They came up with a plan. Well, I can do this without a leg. I can do that without a leg. It's like, this is nuts. This is not what anybody else does. But really, it's kind of cool because it goes to show how much you want it. And we should do a video about that because the hardest thing about being injured is having all of this momentum taken away. And as I'm sure you know by now, if you've been doing this a while, it takes forever to put muscle on, and then as soon as something does come along and kick your ass, it means you have to stop or whatever, like an injury, an illness, you lose it all so quick. Now it comes back in double the time, but that's not the point. It's like an awful game of tennis where you hit it pretty well, and it's blasted back to you at 750 miles an hour, and even if you are somehow managed to return it, the next one is 2,000 miles an hour, and you're just like, why? But you keep playing tennis. That's the point. Why don't you stop playing tennis? Because you're so passionate about tennis. Like Djokovic. Don't want to talk about that. Because in 6 months' time, if you watch this, I don't know what I'm talking about. But he hit a ball at a line judge by accident. He got disqualified. And now everybody's talking about that. And today, did I think I'd be talking about that on camera? No, I did not. There you go. 7 things that we all do in the gym that makes no sense. But I said it before. I say it again. I love every single one of them. It's just a crazy, wonderful place. It's better than Disneyland. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, smash the bell, ding, ding. Then you know when more videos are going to go up. Have a look in the description. There's Twitter, there's Instagram, there's Patreon, there's merchandise. Come follow me on Instagram, though. I'm finally going to start using that one, right? And, the more people I get, the more inspired I will be to do it. There should be another video on screen as well. Make sure you click that. And I'll see you when I see you.